Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Got a bit of a busy morning this morning. We're just going to go and get some heifers in that we kept round. There were some that we were going to sell as stores, and I sold them twice to two different people, and when it came to arranging transport they all crapped out on me. So we managed to get rid of 20, we've kept 27, and we're going to start and bring them in and feed them. Dad's gone off in one buggy, I've got the other one. We're going to just put some of this silage across the bridge to entice them in. Yeah, then we're going to weigh them and do everything that we need to do and put them in the shed. So let's get on. This is like a 40-odd acre field of GS4 herbal lay, and there's a fence up the middle there, and we've had 2 cuts of silage off this, and now we've grazed it all, and here they are on the other side of that fence, so we're going to get them in. Go on in then, girls. Be interesting to see how big these have got. They've grown a nice lot of frame. See how much weight they've put on. So essentially how this works is the cows come in, we trap the head in there, take their weight, we plug it into here with their ear tag number, and then that all goes onto the computer. Keeps it simple. And then they go into that shed there. Right, so now we've got the cows done. Time to go and put the hedge cutter on. The 6.6 behind me. Got to drop it off the baler. Dad's seemingly abandoned it in the doorway. I can't even get in with anything else, which is whatever. Yeah, drop the baler off, put the hedge cutter on, and I can go start trim some bush. There she is, sports fans. Put her on there. So I've got it all hooked up in here. As you can see, all the link arms are all attached, all clipped in, and I've put the boom out like this because all of these pivot points on here have got grease nipples, so I'm going to use that grease gun there, grease them all up, grease the rotor up, and then you can hear the humming in the background, filling it up with fuel. It's nearly dinner time, so I'm going to go into the office and upload all of the cattle weights from this morning onto the computer. And then I can see what needs to be done nutrition wise for those cows, and we can crack on with that, and then after dinner we'll get on with some of this. Dad's done his favourite trick and left the grease gun empty. Does anyone else ever have this problem? Every time you come to use a grease gun it's always bloody empty. Infuriating. So we're just in the field cutting the hedges. I've just cut this bank out along this ditch. I don't cut them out every year, I cut them every 2 or 3 years just to stop any woody growth of any hedge plants that have sort of seeded and started growing. And these hedges are cut every 2 years on our farm because we're in mid-tier stewardship, which means we have to cut them every 2 years. So we've got to cut this one along here and all the way down to the bottom corner there, and then we just cut in the roadside hedge as well. We've got flower nectar mix there and grass margin here, and yeah, the dog's having a great time, enjoying herself in the sun. I think everyone who cuts hedges has their own little method. Personally, first thing I do is I take the top off, so all this long woody stemmy growth that's sticking out the top, I'll take that down to a manageable height, and then I work from that point to put the shoulders in and the sides in on both sides, and then I'll come back last job and run back along the top and neaten it all up so that it's nice and flat and tidy and straight and square and just, yeah, lovely. Make it feel warm and fuzzy. Being the sad human being that I am, I keep looking at this stubble and thinking how great it would be if I had GPS and I could drill next year's crop in between the rows of last year's crop. Yeah, I need to get a life. I've just took a little break from hedge cutting because I've just had to nip to Hinckley, to the Salvation Army, to the Trussell Trust there, who run the food bank for people who are really struggling, and I've just dropped off a load of eggs because the girls have been laying like Billy-O, and I just wanted to give something back. And you know what, it's a bit humbling. It's quite a humbling experience. You know, I'm not the wealthiest person in the world. I don't have new tractors and that kind of stuff that I'm driving around in all the time. I'm not a big farmer. Sometimes you look at these guys and you think like, oh, who are above you in theory, and you think, oh, you know, like I'm so far behind, I'm struggling, I'm not good. And then you go to a place like that and you see some of those guys who don't even have food and they're struggling, and it's quite a humbling experience. And I think it's something that more people need to go and do to realise just how lucky we are to be in the position we're in. So yeah, been and dropped that off. Really great to donate. And now I'm going to go back, do a bit more hedge cutting. It's now Wednesday morning, and these are those cattle that we bought in at the beginning of the week. Just been fed. Had some silage. We're going to go and get a little bit of cereal. They're not on their proper ration yet because we haven't quite sorted it out, but they just having a little bit of cereal just to ease them onto it. Had a vet meeting last night about infectious disease, and really good meeting. It was really interesting. Tied a lot of stuff into COVID, and it was just talking about like age groups of cattle and having them in close proximity and whatever else. And they fed us Domino's pizza, so that was good. You don't have to ask me twice to go to a meeting like that. Yeah, they look happy. Back on the hedge cutter now for the rest of the day. Got a couple of meetings on the phone this afternoon, scheduled in, and the agronomist is supposed to be coming to see me at some point as well, so got them going. But yeah, here she is. What a beast. So here's the finished article. I've not actually, you can see there's some just blown around over the top. This is the boundary hedge, so I shoulder the side on the other side, but I don't actually go around there and cut that one. I've cut this slightly different to how I explained in the video a bit earlier. Usually in this part of the world, you'll cut a side, a shoulder, and a top. But on the arable hedges, what I've been doing the last couple of years is doing a Norfolk A style. So what that means is essentially it is a shoulder straight to the floor and then just a flat top. And what that does is it creates a wider bottom in the hedge for the wildlife. So if you can see here, it just kind of goes like straight down to the bottom. And yeah, just generally better for the wildlife. I do it on every hedge that I can do it on. I don't do it on a lot of the hedges on grassland because we have an electric fence, and yeah, I can't do it. I have to cut up and keep the electric fence out of it, or else it shorts and the cows get out. One thing I always do in the autumn when I'm hedge cutting is I always bring a little pot with me, and I forage myself some blackberries so that I can go back and make a blackberry and apple crumble for Sunday lunch. And if I have enough, I'm hoping to make some jam as well. So that's, I don't know if you can see, but there's loads and loads of sloe berries in that blackthorn bush there, and it goes right down. So there's an oak tree just sticking out. I think I'll leave them because I want to make myself some sloe gin, and they're the easiest accessible ones that I've found. You might be wondering why we cut the hedges every 2 years and not just every year. Well, the reason for that is that most hedgerow plants only go to fruit once every 2 years. So if you leave them, it allows them to go to fruit and make all their little berries, which essentially will be there for the birds over the winter. It's now the end of the day. I'm just taking all the dogs for a walk. I'm home alone tonight. Kate's gone to relive her 13-year-old self and watch McFly. So I'm just going to take my time, pick myself a few more of these bad mans, and yeah, get ready to make some more jam. Until next time, have a good one.